Hey all, welcome to this week's episode of the Shut Up Get Up podcast. I'm your host, Mike Muldoon, and as always, thanks for joining me. So today I want to discuss about the ugliness of holding grudges. Basically, by holding grudges, you're just holding yourself hostage. Now the thing is, we've all been burned, scorned, wronged. Sometimes it started earlier in life as a small child. Someone shares your super duper secret and betrays your trust. Someone beats you at a spelling contest, gets the lead in a school play. We internalize that as being wronged. We hold a grudge. Maybe you get a little bit older and someone steals your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Or they get your dream job and you hate them for it. And the list goes on and on and on. The ironic part about grudges is that someone necessarily doesn't have to do something directly to hurt you. It could be something indirect. Like they're just more likable to others and it burns you, meaning you're internalizing that as a problem when what that person did was nothing wrong. But see, here's the thing. No matter where the grudge comes from, holding on to them is detrimental to your overall well-being and, of course, your personal growth. Holding grudges burdens you with this emotional baggage and can really wreak havoc on your body. It's often been said that holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you hold a grudge, it's where you're continually going to relive or replay this negative event or experience in your mind, right? You're just going to constantly play it over, how they wronged you. And the problem is this perpetuates these negative emotions such as anger, resentment, hostility, which can lead to basically chronic stress and impact your mental and physical health. See, when you're holding onto a grudge, it's like you want the other person's pain to reflect your level of hurt. But here's the thing, the two rarely ever meet, and you're going to be left alone in that fight. Ultimately, it's just allowing someone to live rent-free in your mind and wreak havoc all over and throughout your body. If you got a grudge, you got to do what Elsa says. You got to let it go. If you're not where you want to be in life, and, you've been listening to my podcast for a while and you've looked at some of the other challenges that might be out there that you might be having and realize none of them are that, then check it out here, right? Because if you're not where you want to be in life, then it's time to take real stock and ownership of what might be holding you back. And here's the thing, a grudge or grudges might just be the answer. See, the thing is, if you're going to be dwelling on past grievances, they're going to keep you stuck. They're going to prevent you from moving forward and finding this happiness in your life that you desire. Instead, you're going to find yourself riddled with this anxiety, depression, reduced self-esteem. You're going to constantly think about that moment or that situation and blame that moment and that situation about why you didn't get ahead. Oh, they did this, so it stopped me from getting to this. Or they did that and it stopped me. Or they said this and it hurt me. And because of that, I'm not going to move forward because I want them to feel bad about what they did to me. And again, it's even worse when the person who may have done something didn't do something that really directly affected you. Like they didn't realize what they did that was hurting you. So, this is that moment where people will, almost rebel against, well, I'm not going to move forward in life because I want them to feel bad about what they did to me. Well, that's not hurting anybody except yourself. Okay. So dwelling on these past grievances are just going to keep you stuck. All right. And they're going to stop you from moving forward. And life is about moving forward. You got to stop existing and you got to start living. It's amazing how many grudges just ruin relationships and just not even just friendships. Poor Uncle John one time won a chili cook-off beating his brother. And now all of a sudden, all these holidays go to crap because the brother thinks he should have won and the other can't be in the same room together. Therefore, the holidays are just ruined for everybody. I know it's a stupid example, but sometimes these grudges, that's what they are. How many families and friendships have been ripped apart or just alienated over grudges? Some super, super ridiculous. Think about your own life right now. Think about yourself. Maybe you don't realize you're silently harboring a grudge towards somebody, Or look in your own household. Is there any challenges, or in your extended family where, oh, we can't do this because of this? Because these grudges are holding people back. Years ago, I used to live in Santa Monica, California, and my buddies and we used to throw these huge neighborhood barbecues. It was something we loved to do. We loved to get people together. We started off as our own little parties, but then we realized, hey, to not piss anybody off, let's just invite the 2 square blocks of neighbors there so that everybody can partake. We can have a party. We'll pay for it all, cheap hot dogs and hamburgers. And eventually we got some liquor sponsorships, and we'll bring everybody in, and we'll pay for entertainment if our budget's permitted for it. And anyway, we used to do these things. And I'll never forget that we had these 2 neighbors that showed up to one of our parties. And it was the first time they'd talked in 20 years. I remember them telling me that. They had been neighbors for decades. And because of some silly grudge that one of them was carrying, they hadn't spoke for 20 years. I mean, how much time did these 2 miss over the years? I'm not saying maybe they were buddy-buddy, but I'm saying they were neighbors. I mean, how many times did somebody not look out for the other one because they're holding a grudge towards each other? I mean, if you're going to spend all this time focusing on past wrongs, how they wronged you, it's going to divert your attention and energy away from present moment and the future possibilities of what could be. So ultimately, if you're someone's holding a grudge, again, or grudges, if you're one of those people who just has one against everybody, you're not just affecting your emotional well-being, but these negative emotions can manifest themselves into health issues. Chronic stress, which can be fueled by these unresolved anger and resentment, can contribute to, all sorts of conditions in your body: high blood pressure, heart disease, a compromised immune functions. I mean, there's all sorts of things. And in case you're unaware how the body works, none of that is good for you. So how do I get over my grudges, Michael? Or how do I help my friends get over their grudges? What do? You got to learn forgiveness. Now, I know at this point, I can hear the wheel in some people's brains, but they wronged me. They hurt me. It's not fair. They should be the one that apologized. They should do this. They should do that, which would be really tough if whatever they did, they didn't realize they did. That was allowing you to carry this grudge. But whatever it is, I can hear the wheels turning. I can hear it, They should be the ones. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay, well, then you're going to keep carrying it around. In the long run, it's going to affect you. But see, letting go of grudges and practicing forgiveness doesn't mean you're condoning or forgetting the actions that cause the pain. All right. It's not saying, okay, I'm okay with it. Instead, it's just going to allow you to free yourself from this emotional burden, make this room for healing, focus on positive aspects of your life, stop existing in it, and start moving forward in your life. All right. So if you're holding a grudge, then it's time to stop. And the way to do this is you got to acknowledge what you're doing. Again, look at your life right now. You might not realize grudges are holding you back. You've got to acknowledge it, right? Who hurt you? And then maybe try to think about what was the context. Maybe with a little bit of a distance on it, you might realize, wait a second, these, the situation was different, or so-and-so had something going on in their lives, or there was, maybe you came to realize later on that maybe they snapped at you, but then you found out later on they were dealing with something else, whatever it is. But you know what? But first thing, you've got to acknowledge you have a grudge. Who did it, why they did it, and maybe try to look at the context of the situation of why it happened, okay? And then you got to start looking at, okay, I have this grudge against this person. How is it affecting my life? How has dealing with this pain really hammered you? So let's just say that you, I don't know, what's an example here? Because this happens all the time. Maybe somebody said, you're not, okay, they beat you in a swim race. I don't know. I'm going off the cuff here, people. They beat you in a swim race. You thought you were the best, but they beat you. Now all of a sudden you've decided that you're not going to swim anymore because I'm going to show them, I guess you see this a lot of times with kids, right? They say, well, I'll show you, and then they won't do something they love, right? I'll show you by sitting here on the ground and not participating. Well, how have you not been participating in your life since this pain, since this feeling of this grudge against you? How have you stopped participating in whatever it is that you used to do that you don't do anymore? And then understand that you can't change the past. You just have to accept it. No matter how much we wish we could change the past. This is the challenge, right? The past no longer exists because it is the past. There's nothing you can do about it. It is past. It's over. You really can't rewrite the moment. You might be able to fix the moment. You can't rewrite the moment. The past is gone. It's over with. There's nothing you can do about it. And then maybe from this point, it's all about, and this would be the tough one. Let's just say that somebody actually did wrong you. They wronged you, and they hurt. They violated your trust. They really, really did something to hurt you. Well, here's the thing. You got to repair that relationship with that person. Now, again, I'm not saying that you're going to forgive in terms or, forget, or you're going to condone it, but it's going to be up to you to basically repair that relationship, especially if they're not reaching out to you, because this is the only way you're going to get to forgiveness. And here's the thing. You might reach out to that person and talk about what happened, and they might deny and say, oh, you're being all selfish. You've been stupid about this, blah, blah. It doesn't make a difference, because here's the thing. Once you reach out to someone and you offer forgiveness to them, it's going to unburden you. See, we all think that forgiveness is what we give to somebody else. It like benefits them. But realistically, forgiveness is something we give to ourselves. Because when we're able to forgive other people, we're able to find closure and move forward. So again, you might be passionate about, forgiving this person. And, you go to them and you say, this really hurt me. This is what happens. And for a long time, I've been carrying this pain around with me. And they might go, oh, that's ridiculous. I can't believe you ever let that bother you. But whatever it is, let's just say they act that way. Well, then it's okay, because you don't need them to acknowledge it. If you're willing to forgive them, you're willing to unburden yourself about it. Several years ago, my best friend, more than a best friend, like my brother, he was basically a brother. My parents looked at him like another kid in the house. My brothers looked at him like a brother. It was funny. Like my parents would keep food at the house just when he came over. Anyway, so this guy, he was my brother, and he died in a car wreck. He was a good dude. He really had to fend for himself a lot, but just one of those all-around good dudes. Light up a room, man. Just walk in it. Always had a good attitude. Real positive guy. Anyway, he was driving back to college with some friends, and one of the guys had fallen asleep behind the wheel of the car, and they crashed, and he died. He was the only one that actually died in the car accident. And for the longest time, I just couldn't let go of the anger. I just held kind of a grudge against the driver. I was just mad at him, and the thing, it was an accident. It was an accident, but I couldn't let it go. I would just hold this anger, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just, again, this guy was my brother, and it was hard. And eventually it took years. So, it wasn't constant on my mind, but I know at some point in me, it was weighing me down. And, finally, I had to let it go. And a lot of it is, I think I had to start looking at it from an empathetic side. I had to get to his side and look at it and go, how does he feel, right? He was driving and it was an accident. And, it couldn't be easy, for him either. So again, that was something that I didn't reach out to him. I didn't feel like I had to reach out to him and tell him this, because again, it was an accident, but it was something I had to sort of, to myself, forgive this person, even though, again, it was an accident, to sort of move on from it. And, that took time. And I still kind of remember that point in my life when I was finally like, this is how it's got to be, Anyway, and that's hard. So I guess in this case, what I'm saying is, you unburden yourself by just the act of willing to forgive somebody, even if, again, in this case, they didn't feel like they did anything wrong, and maybe they didn't even do anything wrong, but you unburden yourself of that act. Because again, forgiveness isn't necessarily for them as much as sometimes it is for us. So look, I'm not saying this is an easy one, but holding to a grudge, it doesn't serve any purpose in your life. And if anything, that person you're holding against has even more power over you, because you're letting them limit your life with carrying around that emotional burden. Whether you even realize it consciously every day or not, it's there. It's there somewhere in you. It's there. So realistically, holding grudges is only holding yourself hostage. So if you want to get rid of that, if you want to free yourself of a grudge, you got to free yourself with forgiveness. So, all right, guys. So just keep in mind, the keys to getting rid of a grudge is, number one, you got to acknowledge the hurt. You got to acknowledge who did it, and you got to acknowledge the fact that it's there. You got to consider how that hurt has been basically affecting your life. Accept the fact that you cannot change the past. Try to reach out to that person, try to repair any situation or, grudge you guys have between each other. And if there isn't one between them that they actually overall did to affect you, then you got to figure out a way to just go ahead and forgive. And understand that, again, forgiveness isn't necessarily for them. It's for you. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you today. I wish you the best. I got nothing but love for you. Again, check me out, Mike Muldoon LC on Instagram. Reach out, leave comments. I try to do that social media stuff. Still not very good at it, but I'm doing it. I check out my website, Mike Muldoon. That's MikeMuldonLC for lifecoach.com. If you have any questions, concerns, you can always reach out to me there. Book some taster sessions. Let's see if we can work together. And other than that, I look forward to talking to you again next week. I wish you nothing but the most fantastic weekend. And as always, I got nothing but love for you.